All right, let's go. What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, hump day. How we doing out there? Hope everyone's having a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday afternoon. And of course, I, as always, appreciate you guys being here, spending some afternoon with me on the broadcast. Uh, yeah, so let's get this one going. We got a good one for you today. We got 45-1 actual and the No Prisoners podcast crew. Although I think it's just going to be 45-1 and feisty today because Kevin is, I think, had some like kind of medical situation, if I heard correctly. So, but we'll hold it down as much as we love having Kevin on. We'll just have to make do, and hopefully, Kevin will be able to join us the next time those guys come on the show. But as always, we like to start off by saying hello to our friends out there. So wherever you're watching, say hello in chat. We'll give you a little virtual fist bump here. I see Q-Boys and Silbor out there. Good to see you guys. Shout out to those of you watching on Rumble. Hit that thumbs up button for us if you don't mind. I see Joe modding that chat, modding the pill chat. Joe Elaine, thank you for all you do. Um, and yes, Delia, I got my box. Thank you so much. I meant to email you back. I just ran out of time. Today's been kind of a crazy day. I had meetings all morning and just a bunch of stuff going on. I'm still running very far behind. So, as always, forgive the scattered nature of my operation here, but we'll make do. We'll get through. HL Paco, Lightspear, Lance, D Richard, of course, Joe Lane, Delia. Good to see you guys in the chat early as always. Joe Elaine dropping some cookies, getting our gold pills started. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that very much as always. Esther G13, holy smokes, a ship long before we even went live. Amazing. So I was very impressed with your interview with Cash Adel. Congratulations and rock on. Thank you so much. Yes, that was an experience I will take with me to the grave. So cool, so much fun, especially now that it's over with and I can kind of exhale and breathe and the nerves are gone. I went back and rewatched it. And I never like watching my own stuff. I always feel very cringy and ugh. But I felt like it went good enough, and we got some good feedback from Cash and his team. They said they really enjoyed it, and I heard that through third party. So I'm hoping that's the case, and who knows? Maybe we'll get him back after the election. Floyd, good to see you. Due diligence, welcome. And who else is out there? I know there's lots of you. I got to just scroll through all the pre-chat hellos. Hey, Floyd, thank you for the ship too. Wow. Already two ships, and that was before we ever even went live. So now you have a small fleet. Amazing. Thank you, Floyd. Thank you guys all, as always, for supporting the show. Space Cookie, Denmom, EO, good to see you out there as well. Scrolling through, let's see who else. R. Harrell and Barb Robbins out there. Good to see you guys. Kang Chris, what's up, Chris? How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, the Bucks County thing is awesome. We'll talk about that today. Valhalla also modding the chat. Thank you, Valhalla. Range Pony, good to see you, Range Pony. Soldier American. My God, a lot of people, a lot of conversation rather pre-show today. KG, there's a ton to scroll through. Oil Man 94, what's up, brother? I meant to text you back yesterday, Oil Man. Yesterday was a whirlwind, so anyone that reached out to me and I didn't get back to you, I totally please forgive me. It just I was just done after the show. Fazic, Tweety 52, KC Powwow, Brian 1871, Monkey Toes 71. Don Ritchie 17, Joshua Tree 321, Jeff Den up in Canada. Good to see you. Roy Stones and Bones over on the West Coast. We got Lucy Anders out there as well. Duppy, what's up, Duppy? PNW Sasquatch in the house. Patriot 714. Brian 1871, thank you for the cookie. Boys Blanc, good to see you. Cheers, and thank you for the can. No Me For You in the house, along with Mr. Gerardo. And I got to cut this short today, guys, because it's already 4:02. I got people waiting. So if I didn't get to you, I apologize. It's my fault. Just a late start. Like I said, scrambling a bit here. getting started. But real fast, ADT, thank you for the gold pills. Says, hey, I seen Dr. Misak on And We Know today. Yeah, we're going to cover that clip. That's crazy, right? PNW Sasquatch has saw more Trump signs in Oregon, Idaho, Utah, corner of Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. Just saying. You're seeing support places you never thought you would. Uncensored Abe, thank you for the cookie. Floyd says no more laundromats, new machines. Damn, wasn't supposed to stay here. Laughing my ass off. I'm confused. Oh, I see. You're at the laundromat. I got you. And then John 121878. Thank you for the shades. Uncensored Abe, again, thank you for the cookie. All right, let's start this show. Sorry for being a bit behind, everybody. We'll be right back.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Y'all for tuning in, Patriots United, doing what we gotta do to win. Be addicted, the MS7, now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all, I say it with pride. No, we won't run, we won't fall, we're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong and stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production, Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We're making it hard for the two state to function. Every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adult Hero is the power that's controlling the fight. With all you patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhyme for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may even find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. It's all by design, the patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they can find. They're just slaves in the system till the roles are assigned. That's sad, the good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place. They can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight. But I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sites? These people hate America, punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride. Watch the water, we're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative that feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, replacing with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're only incentivized to start raising our boots. These demons all weaponized. Now we're raising our troops. Now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life is a game of chess. They want to use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful. Then you're gone. But not us. We're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right, knowing they're wrong. Adult Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Adult Nero.
Alrighty.
Let's do this, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for being here for another installment of Deplorable Discussions. My name is Adult Nero. It is October 30th, 2024. We are 6 days away from the presidential election. I am super excited. Also super excited to have our special guest, 45-1 Actual of the No Prisoners podcast aboard today. How you doing, man? Good to have you back.
I'm doing great, man. It's great to be back. I'm loving the vibe carrying over from Madison Square Garden. You know, it's not that fake DNC vibe. I feel like people are really excited, but I was telling everybody today, no red wave talk. We got a lot of work to do, and even if, like Cash Patel said, man, like all the work comes after the election. You know what I mean? So it's great to be here. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you aboard. And yeah, I don't want to use those words either. Red wave, landslide, any of that stuff. You gotta just show up and vote, 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 vote. Bring people out. Hammer down until polls close on Tuesday. But lots of good stuff. I mean, there's a lot of shadiness going on, but I feel like you could already tell we're in better position to deal with it, expose it, and rectify it than we've ever been in the past. And that's not to say that things are going to be perfect this election cycle, but the trend is going in the right direction. And I do think that the more that they try, the more demand they're going to create for fixing things permanently. So I think we're in a good place right now. But again, all of it comes down to people getting out, turning out the vote, and really, really swamping this thing to a point where there's just absolutely nowhere they can run and hide from the result. Let's go to the OG crew. Tennessee Homesteader, how we doing?
All right, another day in paradise. Um, Once again, having to clean the leaves in the driveway because my wife was saying, I'm afraid of driving off the hill. So, needless to say, I get to the bottom. By the time I get to the top, it's the same as it was when I left.
It's covered again.
Tis the season, though. Tis the season. What can I say?
Yeah, well, there's a finite amount of leaves on those trees, Tien. So eventually you will get to the end of that project. I promise.
Yeah, then comes snow. So
Yeah.
that's okay. And that's the trick, see? The issue is not really, well, it is the leaves, but not when the leaves are in the driveway. That's a nuisance. It's if it rains or snow and they're on the driveway.
Yeah, that's
Then
where it
it's,
becomes.
then it's a real problem.
Yeah, because not even like good four-wheel drive can really.
No, no.
Yeah, you're just kind of slipping and sliding everywhere when the leaves
Yeah,
are
and
underneath.
after a third of a mile uphill or third of a mile downhill, not exactly the thing you want to run into.
Not at all. Well, Tien, I'm glad you're here, man. Lots to get into today. Drunk Pinata, anything? How was your show today?
Usual. It's getting crazier. I mean, the TDS uh, and the blue and on stories that they're coming up with based upon this whole I've got a little secret and I'm not going to tell you until after the election, as Trump said on stage at Madison Square Garden, apparently to Mike Johnson, the current Speaker of the House. And they're like, well, that means he knows he's going to lose, and therefore they're concocting some sort of a stop the steal conspiracy criminal, blah blah blah. They're just running with it, and and at the same time, like I'm thinking, he completely baited them because this is all they're talking about. They're not talking about her policies. They're not talking about anything. They're just continuing on that he's a criminal, blah 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 blah, all that stuff, and just TDS TDS TDS. Now, at some point, that does maybe does that drive voter turnout or something? Is that supposed to them fear? But they already have what they have. It's already been, the shot has already been fired, so to speak. I mean, it is what it's going to be. However, that being said, there is still that group of people, as Cash mentioned yesterday. There is evangelicals, the Second Amendment gun people. There is still some votes that we can put out there. So, and I hope that we have been doing that. It gives me good hope that people like Scott Pressler have gotten the kind of vote out. We've seen the type of numbers for the early voting and the returns and the voter registration that we've seen in the various states. So there is for that. But pedal to the metal. Let's keep it going. And it's interesting. So there's a funny little crossover today. Apparently, apparently Brendan Dilly went on a rant yesterday, so much so that it caught the eye of Keith Olbermann. So
Oh God.
Keith Olbermann went on a 10-minute rant about Brendan and what he said about the comedian, and just like why are you offended? And he calls him a racist. He calls him racist, and so I'll just play just like 20 seconds just when he name drops him, and then you guys can go check it out on your own. But to me, I was just like, oh, Keith Olbermann watches Dilly, because this is not, how do you come across that? He didn't. This isn't a post. Because he reads what he said on the show, on his show, not what he posted on Twitter. Now I could get why he might get to his show because he's a prominent voice on Twitter right now, and along with others, right? He's a very shared person on Twitter.
Yeah.
And so I can see why he would find it eventually, but it's like he brings it up as if it's a bad thing. But here, check this out. It's kind of fun for the audience.
As he continues to refuse to acknowledge the racist disaster at Madison Square Garden and his rally there Sunday, one of his surrogates has now doubled down in a bitter and almost indescribably racist and foul-mouthed attack against Puerto Rico and Puerto Ricans, a Trump surrogate named Brendan Dilly. I quote him, because the tape is too vile to play. There is a concern among many MAGA regarding Puerto Rico. I have no effing idea why. If there are Puerto Ricans who are willing to surrender America to communism over a comedian making a joke, F you right back to effing Puerto Rico. If you are in the effing United States of America right now and you're on the actual effing the lower 48, you're there, you're not on your S-ass island, you have no right to complain about how people perceive your dirty ass island, period. To continue quoting Brendan Dilly, the Trump surrogate. And if you're willing to vote against Donald Trump because he accurately, or because a comedian rather, not even Donald Trump, because a comedian accurately made a joke about the fact that your country, effing nation state, whatever the F you guys are, territory, is overrun with trash, F you. More from Trump surrogate Brendan Dilly. I expect more from Puerto Rican Americans. So yes, there was a joke made at your effing expense, and it wouldn't be funny if your island wasn't actually a floating trash heap. So you're not going to actually impact this election in a negative way, no matter how much you virtue signal about this stupid ass story, unquote. Brendan Dilly yesterday. Trump.
You realize that the people that are not the Puerto Ricans that are doing this, because in Puerto Rico, they had a huge Trump caravan rally yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
This is just bullshit, and honestly, Dilly should have let it go. The issue that we have, and I understand why he did that, but the reason I say this is because we're feeding it.
I think the more we feed it, the better, honestly, because they can, like, this is not a needle mover in the slightest. So the more you have them focusing on a joke told by a comedian, I think that's a win, because
No, I understand.
I think most Americans roll their eyes and they're hyperventilating over this garbage joke. And then they went out and you have Biden yesterday calling Trump supporters garbage. So
But that's the whole point. It's the aspect of, if you're going to address it as a joke, which what it was. And there is a reality point to the joke, but the more that the way I'm looking, the more it's trying to be rationalized. Because here's the thing: immediately people started. I even put together a couple of memes with the word garbage on the red cap and the word basura, which is Spanish garbage, in the red cap. And then somebody says to me, well, maybe next thing you know, they'll blame aliens. So I did a green cap with alien writing that said garbage. That's how you address it, own it. There's another person that put out a meme that had a bunch of trash cans marching towards like Washington, right? So
well, it's actually, isn't the kind of step up? We went from Nazis to garbage. I think
so it's, and then there's a video that this young lady put out, a 2-part video on short on Twitter, and what it was is she went to vote wearing a trash bag, and she comes out with the "I voted" sticker on her trash bag.
That's funny.
Right? They can't treat that's political influencing or whatever, right? Because it's an accusation. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't bring it up. It's just don't try to defend it or rationalize it, I guess is a better word.
Yeah, and here's the last word on this, really, is would it be better if he didn't say it? Yes. And that's it. Would it have been better if he didn't say it? Yes. Sure. And that's it. End of story for me.
And Trump said the same thing on Hannity. He was like, maybe we shouldn't have had him there and blah, 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 blah. But I will say, I think like one of the most genuine reactions, even though she tried to instantly cover it up, was AOC when she was playing Madden with Tim Walz. And they immediately started talking about this, right? And she lets Tim Walz know how disappointed she is in Kill Tony for the joke that he made. And so what that says to me is the person who will get ultra offended about anything anybody on the right says about any group has been watching Kill Tony for some amount of time and has laughed and agreed with the way that he demolishes everybody he makes a joke about. And so, like, she was super disappointed that he chose to make a joke about Puerto Rico, but he makes that type of joke about everybody that he talks to. And then on top of that, this is a guy who frequently vacations to Puerto Rico, and he was bringing light to something that was actually happening in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria, where CNN themselves mentioned, yeah, their landfills were already topped out, and then you had all this trash wash ashore, and it was just like this huge problem, and they seemed to have forgotten about it.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely. Oh, did we lose? There you are.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No, and honestly, I have a kind of different take. I think that it's brilliant. I'm so glad that he was there. I'm so glad he made the joke because it gave like a laser pointer for the media to go chase around, and it's absolutely any plans they might have had for like some kind of closing message. They've wasted. They made that the #1 story in the country pretty much for 48 hours.
So
Like
much that Biden just repeated the word, and then that washed out all the coverage of her closing statement, which I did the trouble. I'll save you all the trouble. It was literally just her same 25 to 30-minute canned speech.
Yeah, it cracks me up.
But I guess she gave it at the Ellipse, which means according to the rules that she had a Nazi rally.
Yeah, it's hilarious to me, but yeah, I feel like it was a trap and they walked right into it. Feisty Ace, good to see you. How are you today?
Well, hello, guys. I am wonderful. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. It's good to have you on the show. What do you think about this whole
Yeah.
Kill Tony joke, and the absurd reaction to it?
For me, I laugh at it. It's funny. Like, okay, we're garbage. Cool. We were Nazis and we're, this, that, the other, deplorables, bigots, transphobes, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, cool. Another name. I even made an image of us broadcasting live from our trash can today. It's like, okay, I'm not offended. Let them call us whatever they want. I could care less. Like I've been called worse. So please, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. It's again, I think most Americans, and you can see it too, like cancel culture in general is dying.
Yeah.
It's this whole joyless, no humor mindset is not popular. It's a very small portion of the country that's just like racing each other to be the most offended over something. But all those people were never, ever going to be on our side anyway. So instead of giving them anything to appeal to the middle with, they gave them again something to chase their tail and just sit there and talk to the very furthest edges of their base. I think it was actually worked in our favor in a big way, and you could see it because again, Tien referenced the rally in Puerto Rico. There's been a bunch of man on the street stuff with Puerto Ricans who do not care about this. And again, he didn't say anything about people. He said something about a landmass and the mismanagement of a country. Okay, it's not like he said Puerto Ricans are garbage. He said Puerto Rico, the country, the actual land is garbage, or the way it's being managed right now is making it garbage. So again, it wasn't even like they're making it sound like it was racist or hateful towards a group of people. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Not a word was uttered about Puerto Ricans. But again, the nuance is always completely lost on these people, and to their own demise. Let them sit there and hyperventilate and clutch their pearls, and show the world how just absolutely joyless and disconnected they really are.
Well, and if you're going to go down that path, you can go back all the way to 451 brings it up with the hurricane, but not the hurricane itself, what they did. They hoarded the relief stuff, and even a year or two later, they found stuff in warehouse that was rotting away, water that was no longer viable, that they had just stashed, and then they were blaming Trump for not supporting them. That was, again, the same people, the governors, the governance of Puerto Rico. But there was no mention of people, like you said. But you can't make a racist claim against a plot of land.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't ask if one will tip over if too many people are on it. As a sitting congressman, that's no big.
Well, that can't happen in Puerto Rico. That only happens in Guam.
Yeah, exactly.
And only if you're from Georgia. So you can't make that type of a statement because, he couldn't because he's not white.
Let's take care of our sponsor, and then we'll jump in more into this garbage talk. We got Earth Garden Botanicals sponsoring the show today, as always. We love Earth Garden Botanicals. We love Jolene, who runs the company up in Montana, making amazing wellness products. All the ingredients for these are locally and organically sourced. Fantastic stuff. Try the CBD oil tinctures. They taste great. Flavors like orange, ginger, bergamot, and huckleberry. Those are my favorites, but there's peppermint, cinnamon bliss, cherry. Unflavored's very good as well. You really can't go wrong. There's something for everyone there.
Oh, it's been a while since you explained the difference between the tinctures and the other one.
The tinctures and what other one?
This is supposed to be like a mix of something, so it's like it's not as concentrated, or this one's the more concentrated one. Which one is it?
Oh, the tinctures are all the same the same concentration. I think you can get two different concentrations with them. If you go to the page here, once it loads. But yeah, so you could do 1,000 or 2,000 milligram in any flavor, or it looks like there's a few different choices for some of them, 1,000, 1,600, or 2,000, and that's just how strong they are. But any flavor could go up to 2,000 milligrams of CBD. But they're all, it's just a little flavoring mixed in. There's CBD oil for pets, and then other CBD product is the Arnica Salve, the topical cream for your sore joints and muscles. That comes with or without CBD infused. There's a lot of other great stuff here too, like fire cider to clear your sinuses, elderberry tonic to boost your immune system as the weather's changing. I highly recommend having some of that in the medicine cabinet, along with some white pine needle extract or some sunshine pine needle tea, which is really good for detoxing. So you feel a little cold coming on, you hit up the elderberry, you get some of that pine needle product in you, and hopefully that'll clear you out and boost that immune system. You got your critter juice to keep the insects away, the all-natural insect repellent, and there's a bunch of great stuff on the website here, guys. If you have any questions on the products, just reach out to Jolene through the website. She'll be happy to help you. And you got a promo code getting 10% off, 412 at checkout for 10% off your order at earthgardenbotanicals.com. So big thank you to them, as always, for sponsoring and supporting the show. And thank you guys out there for hanging out with us today. Wherever you're watching, please share the link. If you're watching on pill.net, and I hope you are, hit that red pill button and repost the show or share the link out there. If you're on Rumble, hit that thumbs up button. And again, thank you guys for hanging out with us on this Wednesday afternoon. Here is Joe Biden and the comments he made. And I know most of you probably have heard about this or probably have seen it already, but I feel as though we should play it because I want to get into how the media is trying to cover for him and the explanation as to what he was really trying to say, right? But here's Joe Biden calling all Trump supporters garbage.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable. Garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
All right, so there you go. That is Joe Biden with his basket of deplorables moment, calling all Trump supporters garbage in response to a joke a comedian told on stage at a Trump rally.
Play again what he said. Play it again. Listen carefully to what he said. He called
good, decent
garbage.
He called what garbage?
Puerto Ricans. Listen to what he says. He calls the Trump supporters, but he strings it together with Puerto Rico.
Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Tina is unconscionable, and it's un-American.
He says the only people I see out there floating out there are his supporters. The joke was about Puerto Rico being an island floating garbage. So the only thing he sees floating out there are his supporters. He's talking about, he didn't know it, but he was referencing the supporters in Puerto Rico.
I love that because that's perfect. Here's Donald Trump's response to it because you said he didn't know what he said. This is great. Here's Donald Trump's response to this.
So you have, remember Hillary, she said deplorable, and then she said irredeemable, right? But she said deplorable, that didn't work out. Garbage, I think, is worse, right? But he doesn't know. You have to please forgive him. Please forgive him, for he not knoweth what he said.
I tell you what, man, he is always on his game with this stuff. Always on his game with this stuff. Now, here's Joe Biden's, trying to walk it back, right? He says earlier today, I referred to the
Joe
hateful
Biden
or
Joe Biden.
the
He was way past his bedtime. Everyone was pointing that out because it was last night, and everyone's like, "No one believes that you put this up."
Whoever the high school intern is that runs his Twitter account wrote, earlier today, I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I could think to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at that rally don't reflect who we are as a nation, which again is, if you listen to what he said, he says the only garbage I see floating out there are his supporters.
I remarked at this during my show today. The fact that they went from this guy who wasn't Trump said something that they took out of context and didn't like as a joke was indicative and was representative wholly of Trump and the MAGA and everybody to, you know what, actually, we're going to go ahead and back off that and say it was just the one guy and it's not representative. That's just insane to me in a 48-hour swing. Because I was thinking about this yesterday. I feel obviously doing what I do, it does get to me a little bit emotionally, about how the balance is going as far as the momentum, as far as the propaganda is concerned. And I'm like, there's something going to swing this, and out of nowhere again, Biden just completely wrecks their messaging, and you have to wonder at this point, is this I think we've seen enough examples that is he doing this on purpose, or is this just par for the course, and it's going to happen because it's him?
Yeah, I think he's
it could
doing
be
it on purpose.
it really could be either, honestly.
I think he's doing it on purpose. I think this is his little cheap shots. He's done this a few times now. I don't think we know he hates Kamala's guts.
We know that Jill probably is putting him up to it too.
Yeah, and I don't think he really cares about
No,
I don't think he really cares about the overall, like Hillary Clinton. She has a desperate need to destroy America. Like you could tell, it's like her passion to overthrow the Constitution. She hates what this country stands for. Joe Biden to me just looks like a corrupt guy. He got into the Senate young. Like people started giving him a bunch of money to be, a corrupt politician. He's just like along for the ride. I don't see the same like deep-seated hatred for what it means to be an American from Joe Biden. I just think he's bought and paid for and happy to be bought and paid for. And if they told him to start supporting the Constitution and he would do that. Like he's just a moron for hire, but he's not. I don't see him as the same like truly Marxist extremist, like true believer. So when they usurped him and did a coup, made him a laughing stock in front of the entire country, I think he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck all this up for you guys. I don't care. Like if the country's Donald Trump's or becomes, the third world hellhole you all want it, I'm gonna be dead in 10 years, and it's gonna be
he's sitting on the
meaningless.
beach in Delaware anyway.
Yeah. So to me, like I could totally see him just being like, you know what, I'm lighting this place on fire on the way out the door. Fuck you guys for throwing me to the wolves, and good luck, Kamala. Uh, and I'm here for it. That's my take on it. I could be completely wrong. It could just be an absent-minded, dumb mistake. But
Or the combination of the two. If you're looking at Jill and the getting even aspect of it, you turn him loose because you'll never know what he says when he says it.
yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. You don't even have to give him direction. Just say whatever you want, honey. Just say whatever you want.
Go ahead. We will no longer get you in trouble if you speak.
Yeah. We're gonna send you out there without your note card. And
because that little thing there about Puerto Rico and all that would require more skill than he has to do that as an act, if you will. I think it was more or less as then turn him loose.
Yeah.
And if he despises her as you're saying, and I'm not questioning it, I'm saying with Jill's influencing off camera, loosely put, what's he gonna say when he's on camera? Nothing good.
Exactly.
And he's done that, right? He said, "Oh, Donald Trump says this. Well, I think he's that." He's done that before with different insults. So I would assume he just got wind of, just had to overhear it, them talking about Trump said something or Trump's comedian said something. Doesn't even matter. He just hears a word, it rattles around in what's left of his brain, and he just goes, I'm gonna say it. He's done this before.
You're the sucker. You're the loser.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. All you have to do is turn him loose.
Yeah. I think that's hilarious. All right, here's Kamala Harris. Now this to me is again, whoever's advising her or whatever is doing a terrible job. So she's asked about these comments.
So they should stay employed, is what you're saying.
Yes. Take a listen to what.
It's a brilliance. Stay with it, Kamala. We believe in that person.
Type of leader I intend to be.
Have you spoken to President Biden since his comment last night about garbage?
Listen, I think that, first of all, he clarified his comments, but let me be clear. I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. You heard my speech last night and continuously throughout my career. I believe that the work that I do is about representing all the people, whether they support me or not. And as President of the United States, I will be a president for all Americans, whether you vote for me or not. That is my responsibility, and that's the kind of work that I've done my entire career, and I take it very seriously.
Have you spoken to him about his comments and his intentions?
He did call me last night, but this didn't come up.
Are you concerned about what impact this may have on voters, on the divisiveness of the election, and whether or not it's going to dissuade some people from supporting you because of your affiliation with the president and this administration?
I've been very clear with the American public. I respect the challenges that people face. I respect the fact that we all have so much more in common than what separates us, and that most people want a president that understands that gets that, and approaches their role of leadership that way. I've been very clear from my earliest years as a prosecutor.
She got Everclear on the mind.
Oh my God!
So I want to
prosecutor inside of her middle class house.
So let's just talk about what she said there, because she has been given so many opportunities to distance herself from Joe Biden. Questions on The View, Stephen Colbert, Brett Baer, all have asked her like fundamentally how she's different, all giving her this softball to try to show how the last 4 years will not repeat themselves, that she's a completely different. Here's another opportunity. When they ask about Joe Biden's comments, she could have buried him. Who cares? He's not running. She could have completely separated herself from him and maybe, like in a Hail Mary attempt, created some kind of like, oh, maybe this isn't just an extension of what we saw the last 4 years. She should have said, I disagree with everything Joe Biden said. That was uncalled for, unneeded. We're better than that. Joe Biden should know better than that. I do not, I do not stand by that. I do not support that. She could have come down hard on him. And, that would have been, if I was advising her, that's what I would have told her to do, is like bury him. Like, who cares? Like, you're a week away. He's about to be completely irrelevant. Why would you stick up for him at all? Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. She has missed every opportunity to show that she's not essentially just the exact same thing as Joe Biden. And this was another opportunity. And
You realize that she just said the exact opposite of what she said earlier the week, or in the last weekend, when she called Trump supporters Nazis, or insinuated such through Trump, because she
said,
just said,
is Trump a fascist? She said yes.
yeah. So, but the whole reference here was about Puerto Rico and the people, right? And she's saying, I'm going to be president for all of the people, but she just got through lambasting the same people that Biden did, just using a different word.
Yeah,
So it's totally made up line, obviously, and disingenuous. And the minute she starts moving her hands into she's trying to stack bricks, it's practice.
Yeah.
You watch her hand movement when you can't see mine, but if she's doing like she's moving bricks from a pile onto a stack, right? When she's doing that, it's a practice line.
Yeah, she's got a lot of tells. So they're saying that, they're trying to cover up for saying that here's CNN. This is probably a good clip to kind of show the way the media is handling this whole situation. Take a listen.
Say though, Bakari, he was in his house, the White House. He was in his house doing this, and the reporting is that there are places that he can be useful, but he's not everywhere like you might expect a sitting president to be for his vice president.
I don't know that I would expect this president to be everywhere in this moment. I mean, look, a critical element, any coach will tell you, any CEO will tell you, a critical element of running a team and winning is assessing the strengths and weaknesses of your team members and making sure you allocate them in the right way. Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves. But Joe Biden...
Yeah, because we all say support apostrophe inserted here. As
Right.
we all speak like that, right?
End of quote. Repeat the line.
Yeah, that was the whole thing being pushed by Washington Compost. That it all came down to misinterpretation due to an apostrophe.
It's apostrophe gate.
I grew up in a middle-class family with a speech impediment, okay? Like, I know what Joe Biden was trying to do here, okay?
Yeah.
Where's his stutter at anyways?
Yeah, exactly. There was no stutter there, and he said it very clearly. He said it very clearly. And this is why nobody trusts the media, is because, I mean, think about how they're handling this versus good people on both sides, right? If you're a Democrat, if you are part of the machine, if you are ideologically aligned with the media, you get unlimited benefit of the doubt. They will bend over backward to change reality, to rewrite what you said to make it more palatable to the masses. If you are a Republican, they will take 3 words out of a paragraph that you said, isolate them out of context, and maybe even add something that wasn't there to paint you in a negative light. And we see this constantly. This might be the most egregious example of the former that I've ever seen. This apostrophe thing, this hidden mystery apostrophe. Give me a break. That's just such nonsense. But he gets called out for it by Scott Jennings here in a second. It's pretty funny.
It's like they also say, if I said, seriously, last night I saw a comedian and he totally killed, they would say, seriously, I killed someone last night. They would take it so far. You know what I mean? They would.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's what they do.
complete propagandist. But Scott Jennings does push back a little, and it's fun to watch him just kind of trigger a lot of these people on the panel.
Has been on the campaign trail. He's best getting ice cream in Maryland like he was today. He's best showing moments of empathy in Arizona like he was last week. He's best with union
president
folks
of the United
as he was
States.
in Pittsburgh last week as well. You use people where they are best. You put Obama in a big arena, you put Michelle in a big arena, and you put Joe Biden in front of a bunch of union people doing retail politics.
You could make the argument that they would be fine if Joe Biden wasn't anywhere near a microphone between now and next Tuesday.
Hey, let me just accept the most charitable framing of this, which you just gave. Why is he sitting in front of a laptop at the exact same moment Kamala Harris is out on his backyard trying to give the closing argument to her campaign? What in the world is he doing? Now, I don't accept your framing of it personally because I actually do believe he, Harris, the Democratic Party, and most of their campaign do believe that half the country is garbage. They've also said people who go to Trump rallies are Nazis. And so it's pretty apparent the disdain with which they hold half of the country in.
That's not true. That's just not true.
But
in Kamala's speech tonight.
But as a tactical matter today,
No, but you don't just get to say
why in
that.
the world is Joe Biden giving remarks at the same
shut up, politics.
So go with the last thing she said, not what she said all along. Don't go along with everything that's being said by her and by the Democrats and by Biden. Remember Biden in front of Centennial Hall, right?
I mean, let me go to you, 45-1. Have you seen anything that would beg the differ of what Scott Jennings said? Like, has it not been incredibly obvious from that the Democrat Party, and honestly a portion of the Republican Party, but the Democrat Party and the left-wing media absolutely hate half of the country?
Yes. No, that's 100% exactly what it is. And they just try to play it off as like, oh, no, we don't hate everybody. Everybody's welcome around here. It's Donald Trump and the fascist and the existential threat that is the MAGA Republicans that are the problem. So that's like how they sneak it in. It's a threat to the democracy without like, I don't know, man. But yes, to answer your question, yes, they absolutely despise us with everything that they have.
They called Madison Square Garden a Nazi rally. So
yeah, Mika said it was disappointing to see so many people rally just to hate. That's what the entire rally was about, was just to hate and be racist and be divisive. That was the entire purpose of Madison Square Garden.
So it's amazing to me to sit here and listen to the left-wing media lose their mind over what Scott Jennings said there, because they literally were calling everyone in that building Nazi supporters. Like how is that?
Well, not supporters. Nazis.
No, not supporters.
Yeah,
Nazis.
Yep, we're already goose stepping around.
You don't go to a rally, a Nazi rally, as a supporter. You go to a Nazi rally as a Nazi.
I'm being as charitable as I can, when I say that. And I agree with you, honestly. But again, I'm even giving them undue benefit of the doubt. And even if it is them just saying they're Nazi supporters, is that really any better? They're still.
Well, if they're from the left, they should be described as Nazi curious, I suppose.
But it's just amazing to me that they could be like, "Oh, you can't just say that, Scott. You can't just say that." It's like, you fuckers, you guys have been calling and demonizing half of the country for the last,
especially that girl, that
years.
lady right there. She's with Midas Touch. They're the most propagandizing type of people. Like, she's literally been calling people Nazis like before it was cool in the past few months.
Here's what's her name? Karine Jean-Pierre, the self-proclaimed historical figure on the subject.
I think less of Americans who support Trump than he does of those who do not. And two, why is he using that kind of rhetoric? How is that presidential?
So a couple of things. So just to clarify, he was not calling Trump supporters garbage, which is why he wanted to make sure that we put out a statement that clarified what he meant and what he was trying to say. And so just want to make that very clear for folks who are watching.
Does he think
Right. So let me explain what we wanted him to have said. So he wanted to be clear that we put out a statement telling you what we think he should have said, because that's not what he said.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even there, she admits that that's what he said. She's saying what he meant to say. Was
Yeah,
something
exactly. Yeah, what he meant.
And if there was like real unity with these people, like they would have had him with his fifth point of contact in a chair away from a microphone, smiling big while Kamala Harris was delivering the speech. And then the mainstream media could have just panned in on him, paying close attention to what she's saying. But instead, he's 1,000 feet away, locked up like a curmudgeon, like they told him to be. And it's wide open for everybody in the American public to see. Like, why wasn't he right outside sitting there supporting her if it's like
somebody forgot to shut down the Wi-Fi at the White House?
Well, maybe that's thinking about how these people are this stupid. Maybe that's what this was about. Is that I'm here in DC speaking in the ellipse right next to the White House. I'm different than him because I'm doing this public thing and he's just doing this little piddly thing over here for this one particular segment of voters. Like, was that the thought process that we're visually separating it by their locations being different and in a different scale? Like in their minds, they might think that that's enough of a differentiation.
Does anybody
they clearly see him as toxic? Like they clearly see Joe Biden as a major drag on the entire Democrat movement right now, because otherwise
could it have been a ploy? Does anybody, I haven't seen any, all I saw was a post that was done the day of, we talked about that yesterday, but has anybody seen any photos of this alleged rally at the ellipse? How many people were there?
They say 75,000. I call bullshit. They also said that it was larger than the one on January 6th.
That's definitely not true.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, are there any photos? Because it's not what they say. It's the visuals.
I've seen video. It was a large crowd. Like, to be fair, the videos I saw, it was a large crowd. Definitely tens of thousands of people. If I'm being honest, like I would say somewhere between 15 and maybe 30,000 people based on the what I saw were there. But you would really hope that in a area that votes 95% for Democrats, this close to the election, that you would be able to generate a crowd in a big city like that, in a big area like that. There's a reason why she did it there and not in a swing state. Yeah. There's a reason why they did it in Washington, D.C., because it's one of the few places where the true believers really gather.
No, you're right. They wanted the optics of large support, or
and that's why I was asking
support, because that's what they have to keep saying. Where are the majority? Where are this? Right? They have to keep saying.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was asking, because it looked like a perfect distraction to have focus on Biden and not the rally.
Yeah, Molan Labe is saying 19,000 people. Good to see you, Kaiman. Hope all is well, man. Where are you getting that number from? Just curious if you read something or saw something, or are you just giving us a guesstimate? But yeah, that crowd, again, it was probably one of the bigger ones we've seen a Democrat speak to recently, but it was, again, in their backyard. Those are all the people that'll be immediately fired if she loses. So they're all there rallying for their government paychecks.
And I was asking because we were looking for, why would Biden come out at the time that she's doing that, right? So it's either to detract or to distract from it. And I was wondering if the rally was not what they expected or what they promoted or what they're conveying. If Piñata's saying like in the 70,000s, it's a distraction so you don't look at the crowd. But
I think
she's big mad today, guys. I'm gonna drop this link in the chat when you guys get a chance. Look at that.
Okay, let's take a look, because something quick here to do before we go to the break. And of course, why won't that? There we go. There we go.
Look, everybody has a right to be heard, but right now I am speaking. Look, everybody has a right to be.
Again, I don't know who's advising her, but this like boss bitch like persona that she tries to put on is for a campaign that is self-admittedly struggling to reach men. This is the opposite of how you accomplish that, is by doing this. Again, here you go. Let's just play that again one more time.
Be heard, but right now I am speaking. Look, everybody has a right to be heard, but right now I am speaking.
My
Look,
God.
That last little clenching of your teeth, you notice at the end, that's the practiced anger.
She's used that line at many rallies now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She has. That's become that's become a staple of
She's
of
got
her
so
whole
many
performance.
tells.
Yeah.
Makes 007 playing poker a gimme.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to play this, just a little something here to kill a couple more minutes before we go into the break. We'll be going exclusively to pill.net for all of you guys watching on Rumble, D Live, Twitter, Cloud Hub, Odyssey. Come find us over there. Type in pill.net to your browser. We're 412 Productions. There's also a link in the Rumble description underneath the stream. I'll throw it in the live chat as well. I'll throw it over on D Live for you guys too, to make it easy. But again, if you can't get to the links, it's just type in pill.net into your browser and find us at 412 Productions. We'll be right at the top or side of the screen, depending on whether you're on mobile or desktop. Will be that black and gold logo with all the other live channels. But here's Benny Johnson in Atlanta, in the hood, if you will, passing out MAGA hats. And again, we've been following this whole evolution, the generational shift of black men from Democrats to Republicans. And I think the last polling from Rich Barris showed over 28% of black men, into the mid-teens now with black women, when it comes to the black vote for Donald Trump. And overall, he's looking like he's going to hit about 20%, which is an absolute catastrophe for the Democrat Party, especially when you consider the trend isn't slowing down. They might hold on. He might only get 20% this time around, but if this trend continues for another 4 years, you're talking about the dismantling of an entire political party.
All he has to do is go through with his agenda.
Yep, 100%. Yep, check this out.
Donald Trump was president, was life better?
Life was 100 times better, and I felt like the tip of the spear was sharp. Come on now.
America. Listen, man, Donald Trump is the best thing that ever happened to America, and I'm gonna tell you why. Let's go.
Taurus, who you voting for?
Trump.
Yeah, why's that?
Because we need to be Republican again.
I don't know what they gotta say about Trump, but I know what I gotta say about him. I'll with him. Excuse my language. Hold on, we gonna see that. Oh, that joint on, yeah.
Oh, these my people right here.
Watch out,
2024.
Now I gotta put that on for real.
Do you think Kamala would ever come to this neighborhood?
Who is that?
Yeah. You want to make America great again?
Yeah.
Make America great again, baby.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Let me see y'all. Yeah, that's the look right there, my brother. There you go.
Essentially, that America was in better hands under Donald Trump, so vote Trump.
Gotta love it. Worst Nazi movement ever, I gotta say, man. A lot of Jewish people, a lot of minorities in this Nazi movement.
Every color, every shade of every color.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
When I was watching that, it reminded me when that lady said, we want to be Republican again.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to the history of the black community post-slavery and the KKK, you'll see what the KKK was after when they were doing the lynching. They were after not necessarily blacks, but they were after Republicans. And when they started lynching whites, Republicans. And the majority of the majority of the blacks were Republicans.
Yeah. I mean, what's it?
Not Republican.
Martin Luther King was a Republican,
Lincoln, right?
Yeah,
because
Martin Luther. Yeah, I mean, they were the anti-slavery party.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
One last thing for you guys. Here's you thought that last part was the voice part, the voice aspect. Here, I'll raise you one more.
How many different accents and like voices has she given
Bruce
us?
Buffer, watch out. Coming for you.
Man, what a pathetic person. What a facade. I mean, it's a total, I mean, when we were told, I mean, not to bring in that aspect of it, but when we were told you're watching a movie, that is exactly what you're seeing. It reminded me Blazing Saddles, the scene where they go through the town and it's nothing but cardboard and cutouts of the town. That's her.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right?
All right. Yeah, we have to go to our break. So again, those of you guys on our alternate platforms, I hope you'll come join us for hour number 2 over on pilled.net. We're gonna play a quick video on the way. When we get back, we will officially say goodbye to you guys over there on those other platforms, and then we'll read your gold pill chats, as we've had quite a few coming in throughout the first hour. And then we've got plenty more. Got some Supreme Court rulings that I want to talk about. An interesting little tweet from Brian Cates that I thought was encouraging and very, very on point. So I wanted to read that as well. And a bunch of other stuff too. We'll just kind of see where the conversation goes and how we manage our time here going forward. But yeah, we're going to be doing all that exclusively on pilled.net. Links in the video description on Rumble, in the chat on Rumble and DLive, or go to pilled.net in your browser. And we are at 412 Productions over there. We'll be right back.
Pilled.net is proud to host 412 Productions exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pilled.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family, and if you have any questions at all, please email support@pilled.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on Pilled.net. Free speech lives here.
Okay, thank you everybody out there who has come over from the other platforms to continue hanging out with us on Pilled. We always appreciate those of you who do that. And again, if you're not going to jump over, no worries. Tomorrow's taking it back. Tomorrow is taking it back. We'll hang out with Zach and Frank here in the first hour. We'll be on Badlands Media. When we're done with taking it back, we're going to do overtime and do a little celebration. 6 years of broadcasting here on the channel. It's gone through a couple different brands, so but six years total since we started doing the live streams and the 4 o'clock show. So we're gonna just kind of have a little fun celebrating that in hour number 2, maybe a bit longer. We'll see. So the plan is I'm gonna try and dig up. I think I still have some of the files, some of the first videos we ever did. So we'll make fun of my cringiness and how awkward I was at the very start of all this a little bit. We'll take some calls from you guys, and we'll just kind of see how the evening progresses. But I'm looking forward to that. Friday we'll wrap up the week, head into the weekend, and then next week we're gonna do a election night show. We'll start at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll go for a while. I plan on streaming into the later parts of the night, at least probably till midnight, and we'll be joined by a bunch of friends. We'll do a little simulcast at some point with Zach and Frank also for a little while too. So that'll be a lot of fun. 45-1, you're more than welcome to jump in on our stream at any point if you're not doing one yourself. Tuesday night, you'd be more than happy to host you. If you want to come in and join the conversation, and that goes, we're gonna have a lot of our friends kind of popping in and out throughout the night. So that's
Awesome.
gonna be, yeah, that'll be fun. It's gonna be a fun time. Hopefully it'll be a celebratory experience, and everything will just kind of go the way we hope it goes. So that's the plan going forward. So again, hop on over to pill.net if you want to keep watching. Otherwise, have an awesome rest of your Wednesday, and I hope to see you all tomorrow for Taking It Back.